How you've been trading? Have you? I mean, would you consider yourself a break-even trader? Not yet,
Not
or pardon?
not yet,
Okay.
not yet. So I do make a lot of money, but then I lose it the same day. So I'm trying to figure out like what are things I can do because I do work at the same time. Like I do landscaping and I trade at the same time, and I'll make like a few like 10,000 on a funded account, and like I'll blow it the next day because I don't think I'm not patient, or I think I revenge trade. Um, what else? I'll probably like I don't know. I wouldn't have time. But usually like I'll make a lot and then I'll just like blow it the next day. So I'm like, it's like I have a couple like 20K payouts maybe, but it's like I get break even at the end of the day. So
So it
overall, I
sounds
break
like you're a
even.
lottery trader. You're a lot. I don't mean that to be disrespectful or trying to
No,
talk
that's
down to
okay.
you,
Yeah.
but that's the mentality, and we called ourselves that when we were trading outside of prop stuff in the beginning. When I'd get in other communities, and guys with more experience would be talking to people that less experience, and they'd say, "Look, you're trading the lottery again. You're trading it." And when you say you make lots of money and you blow it the next day, what you've entered is this loser's mentality where you're numb. You're just chasing the next win. You don't even realize that you're in this loop that keeps going. I mean, I guess you realize it now, in retrospect, but you don't realize you're in it when you're getting ready to take another trade because you want another big win or you're trying to get to a big payout or a payout. The only way you're going to fix that, and this is sincerity, okay? You need to lower what you're aiming for in terms of the money. You need the money to be the least important thing and the consistency aspect, the most important thing. So
Mhm.
if it means you make $100 a day, once you make $100, stop trading, and you do it
Okay.
with a micro. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of like desensitize yourself to the need to be right with lots of money,
Yeah.
to changing it to I'm consistently following a model and approach that is the minimums you can get, $100. If you make $100 every trading day, that's $2,000 a month. If you nail it and stop, don't go back in either. That's the other rule. You can't go back in. I have taught this. I have told this to students. They paid me behind a paywall when they had these same similar problems, and they never came back and showed me where they failed doing it because they went through that process. They got better by doing this. In other words, everyone that did it overcame the problem that you're describing. Everyone that did not come back and say, okay, here, Michael, here's the proof I did what you said. They never did that and failed. They never did that. The ones that did show the progress of what they went through, they always went to consistently profitable because they changed their mindset about having the big payout money. You're describing something. You said you make $10,000 in a day, and the next day you blow it.
Yeah.
That's unsustainable for someone that doesn't have consistency and a very disinterest for the outcome. Sorry about that. Give me a second. The idea of pursuing another big win becomes so encompassing that nothing else is acceptable. So what you're doing is you're trying to become an Olympic trader. Gold medal is all you'll accept, and failure is not an option. And that's unsustainable. Like that's literally unsustainable. And if you haven't been trading for a long period of time, it's literally impossible. You'll get wins. You'll put money on the bottom line, but you'll throw it away chasing that same paradigm of I'm pursuing big money. I'm pursuing quick shortcuts, get to the money, because what you're trying to do is you're heavy-handed trading and you're trying to do it impulsively and you're doing it at work. So you're literally, please don't take this. I'm not beating you up because you're,
No, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but you're literally doing everything wrong. Like you're on the job. You're probably saying, man, if I can make this, and if I keep doing this, I ain't got to do this job no more. I could do all these other things. And what you're doing is you're cheerleading yourself with all the wrong things. When you should be cheerleading yourself saying, I don't want to have so much concern about the outcome of the trade because I need to prove that I'm consistent. I'm a rule-based idea trader, and I'm not going to be influenced by the money. Every single millionaire trader, every single one of them that has consistency, they don't just get it because they hit the jackpot on a nice little run here and never was able to do it again. There's lots of those out there. You want to be able to be boring, consistent. You know your business model, you're going to implement it, and the money's not the motivator. The consistency and adhering to that model. And when you start by focusing on, I'm going to follow the model, I'm going to follow the process, and I'm going to just aim for the smallest amount. And $100 a day, you don't think this is going to be all that big because you probably take, like you said, you had a couple of 20,000 payouts. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now the bug has bit you, but now you got to sober up and say, okay, I've tasted it. I know what it feels like to get that kind of money. So now how do I consistently get that money? You got to go all the way down to the quarter slots, not go to the roulette wheel and bet everything you brought to the casino, hoping you get the big payout. Go to the quarter slots, and you're not there to get a lot of money. You're there to desensitize yourself to the outcome. You're just there to, I'm following a model. This is the model. I put a quarter in, I push the button, it spins. I don't care about the outcome. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I no longer care about what happens on the outcome of the trade. But I'm not worried if I lose, and I'm not excited if I win. It's that little sweet spot. If you can dwell in that area, in that arena as a trader, there is no ceiling. There is no cap on how much you can make. It's literally a blank check. But everybody's focused on doing as fast as I can, get the big payout, because somehow in our mind we think that that's the end of it. We're going to get a big payout and we don't never have to do it again. But then you spend that money real quick, and you're like, man, I want to get another one of them. Or you love the way it feels, and you just can't imagine doing this because it doesn't feel like you should be bothered with it. And that's what prevents you from being consistent, because you're looking at it from the monetary side, not the consistency, not the, I'm following a model. I'm not worrying about the income that comes from the outside of the result of the trades, the transactions. That's not the importance. The importance is, are you just simply following the model, the rules? You're there in front of the charts when it forms, you engage, and you have zero emotion about it. That's what every trader should be striving for in the beginning. When you then know how to read price action consistently, and you're not impulsively chasing the next payout, you won't try to trade multiple times in a day. Let me ask you a question. Have you made money in trades that were handsome, and then while you were at work, or maybe it was a day off, you went back in and tried to trade and make more?
That was like in my beginning years of trading, but usually when I make like 10K, 20K a day, I would stop completely and maybe trade the next day.
Did you do that the first time it happened, or you evolved into, when I make this much money, I'm not going to risk it anymore for the day?
I
Or was it
involved.
always okay? Yeah, so you had to go through this painful, experience saying, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. Well, you can find trades clearly, but then the money's clouding your mind. It's telling you to keep risk high. Do you use a stop loss?
Yes, I do. I do 500 stop.
Okay. How often are you trading per week?
Uh, 2, 3 days per week.
So are you saying you're taking 2 to 3 trades or transactions per week?
Yeah. Well, actually, let's say I'm like today, I would take maybe 4 trades. So then tomorrow I don't trade it. Then Wednesday I would take another maybe 2, 4 trades, but then I lose it completely.
Okay. So
And then I just like to.
what?
Consecutive losses, Michael.
Okay.
I don't think he's really paying attention to that. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of what it sounds like. He's losing consecutively, and it's taking from all of his gains.
I would like over tilt. So like say like okay, I need a certain amount today. So let's say I had like 20K for TPT, and I was gonna get a payout, and I lose like 6K. I tilt, and I start over ledgering, and then over trading, and I just lose the account completely. Like I don't know when to stop. Like I keep telling myself to like stop trading AG session because those are the days I lose most of my time, but I just can't. I don't know why.
Okay, well, you just really did me a great service because I was trying to fish out of you where you feel your problem areas are and have you recognized them? You have, but you haven't changed anything about them. You know a problem time of day that most of your losing trades are occurring, but yet you're saying you still can't change it and something happens. That's a lack of control and self-control, and you're being impulsive. And it's probably because in Asia, do you find yourself at home after work? And Asia's the time when you're not at work and you can follow price action more closely because you're not being distracted by your job?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that's that.
Well, now,
And
now build this idea up in your mind. If I told you, I'm not ICT, I'm just somebody that just tried to start trading the last year or so. And I tell you, listen, I got this job and I make okay kind of money, but I want to leave it. I want to be a trader. And I've done some things and I've made some money. And sometimes I get real close to the payout. And then because it's so close, I just want to get it done and nail it down. I go in at the only time of the day where I'm not really working. So Asia's like it for me. But I've noticed every single time I go in there, it's hurting me. What advice would you give me? Because you have more experience than me because I just started just recently. What advice would you give me?
um, I would say like maybe take days off work and play during those days. Like maybe like 9:30s. Like take days off.
Do you recognize what you just did?
Yes.
What did you just do?
Told myself to take days off work and trade.
You're telling yourself, take away the guaranteed meal ticket income of your job to gamble, and you defended your own personal perspective of still trading the Asian session. Did you hear what you just did? Because that's what you just did.
Yes.
So your problem is impulsiveness and lack of course correction. That means you recognize that there's a problem here. It's like, I'll borrow the analogy that my first mentors used. Larry Williams said, if you go down the first right-hand turn after you leave your house and you walk down to this blue house and it has a white picket fence in the front and it has this really mean, vicious dog. And every time you walk by this fence and your arm's too close, it just tears your shirt apart, gets a hold of your skin, tears you open. Do you need to keep doing that 50 times before you realize there's a threat there?
No.
No, right. But you haven't got to that point yet to recognize the time of the day and the things that you're doing don't, for you yourself, you don't need course correction. And you've said, I don't know why, I just keep doing it. You do know why. You're telling yourself that if I keep doing it long enough, it's going to work for me, when it's already proven to you that this isn't the right thing for you to be doing right now. I'm not saying you can't eventually become a good trader during the Asian session, but right now you're fighting to prove it for yourself. And that's a problem. And we don't feel like it's a problem when we're doing it. You need to have some kind of intervention, someone outside of you, sit down with you and have a conversation. That's why I put myself in the situation where you could try to counsel me, giving you the same thing you just gave me. And you couldn't identify it, or you did, and you talked around it. So that means you're keeping that enabling aspect that causes your own defeat. You're doing that to yourself. It's a conscious decision that you keep making over and over and over again. And the first thing I would suggest to you is that you have to stop thinking like that, because how you're thinking is steering everything that you're doing in action or inaction. Go down in size, only trade 1 micro. Don't worry about getting a payout. Don't worry about that. Be consistent with 1 micro in a demo that you didn't pay for. Show me 30 days, come back in a month, okay? Or send it to me in a tweet directly. So here, you told me this on the 20th of July, 2026. Here I am, I'm back here 4 weeks or whatever later. Here's what my demo account looks like. Show me every transaction. Just record your screen on your phone and just go through the whole thing. And I better not see anything more than $100. And I better not see anything more than $50 as a loss. Because if you can do that, and you're consistent about doing that rule-based idea, it's not about how much money you make. That's the beginning of you fixing a lot of the things that you have impulsively going on. And if you don't want to do this, I promise you what I'm going to say to you next is the absolute truth. And whether you believe it now, you will believe it later on. It'll probably be believing it when you quit trading altogether, because you just won't be able to do it at all. If you don't do this, you will never be consistently profitable. And I mean that 100%. I don't care who teaches you what, you have a reckless abandonment for what it is you're doing. And I was there before. I've done that stuff, and it's uncomfortable admitting it. It's uncomfortable sharing it with other people, but it's a very hard thing to overcome. But you have to recognize first what it is. And you did me a great service as someone that's counseling you, because you gave me the very things that you said that you identify. And you know that this is where you're losing money, and you just keep doing it. If you were married and you married someone that had a long-term relationship with another guy, and they work at the same place, and he's always still coming on to her, you're going to just let this go on and not have a conversation or intervene, say, look, we got to make a change here? No, you're going to make a change because you care about that relationship, defending it. Somehow you've twisted your logic up. Well, now you have this abusive relationship with your trades, with yourself, and you're defending your poor choices as the trader. You're not identifying the things that you need to correct and change. You're defending it and pretending it's not happening. And that's what a loser cycle does. It focuses on, well, I'm just not sticking to it long enough. And no, there's a time when you need to pull the plug on it and make some changes. And don't try to get these big payouts. Be consistent. And over time, let me say this and we'll end it. If you've done this exercise every single day, it's easy to make $100 a day. It's very, very easy trading micros to make $100 a day. And most people don't even realize that how much that would change everything on their financial landscape if they could just do that, let alone $10,000 payouts, $20,000 payouts. It's stressful getting there if you don't know what you're doing. You're gambling, but you're not gambling when you risk $50 to make $100 on a micro or two. You're not going to go broke. You're not going to lose the house doing that, but you're gaining a perception of reading price action, managing and mastering yourself in this process. And then by getting more experience, being responsible, aiming for the things that work best in your own hands, and doing this for 30 days is going to help highlight where that is. And it'll also highlight some deficiencies where you have in your personal characteristic as a human, as a man, and then as a trader. And you have to be honest, and you got to be able to, and I'm not saying you haven't been honest, you've been terribly honest to the degree where most men wouldn't admit what you've admitted to. And that's very commendable. That's the first step to you correcting all these things. Because I have so many students around the world that simply tell me they do everything right, and obviously they're not. And I commend you with your willingness to come up and say what you said. But after 30 days, what you're going to have is you're going to have a baseline. And that 30-day, 1 month experience of spending time doing the least, it's going to be hard. You're going to be like, man, I need to do something extra than this. Some days it's going to feel too easy, but you're not supposed to feel like it's too easy. That's the whole part of it. You don't want to feel like it's easy. You don't want to feel like it's hard. You don't want to look at the money and say, I only made this many transactions, 30. That's the most you can do. And here it is. This is all I made. You don't want to look at that either. You want to look at how you felt going through it after the full week. 5 days, 5 trades. That's it. If you lost, you lost. You got to wait till the next day. Reset. 1 trade. Risk $50 to make $100. As soon as you get your limit order hit at $100, you stop. You don't go back in and see what else you can do. You don't look at my videos. You don't look at anybody else's stuff. You don't talk to other traders. You completely isolate yourself. You're not going to want to do it. You're probably already talking to yourself, ain't no way I'm going to deal with this stuff. But I promise you, if you do it, the perspective you gain, the visibility that you gain by doing it, it changes you. And it makes you process-oriented, detail-oriented. It makes you much more responsible in your own hands. Nobody else can help you. No one else can make you do these things, but you have to identify doing these types of things. This corrects me. And then for another 30 days, Then do it with one mini contract. So if you're trying to make $100 with a micro, shoot for $500 to $1,000 on a mini. One mini, not more, just one. And whenever you get that result, stop. If you lose, don't go back in. Don't try to fix the error. You're totally desensitizing yourself to the outcome, but you're just following the rule-based ideas that you're using to get into the trade. I don't know what your rule-based ideas are. I don't know what your model is going to be, but whatever it is, it needs to be the same thing. And it could be simply flipping a quarter. You're going to go long because it went heads. You're going to go short because it went tails. It doesn't matter what the model is. What we're trying to identify is you sticking to rules and limiting yourself to, okay, this is all I can do and there's nothing else. I promise you, man, I'm telling you, it doesn't seem like it's the way it is, but every multimillionaire that's made their money in trading, their trading is boring. It is so boring. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. It's just business. It's just business, man. And you got to go by the numbers. And if you don't really know what your numbers are, where you go off the rails, how to stay on the rails, you're just gambling. You're taking shots in the dark, and maybe you might hit something once in a while. People win the lottery all the time, but not a lot of people win the lottery every week. And people without a model, without any discipline, that's what you're trying to do. And that's unsustainable, and it's not realistic.